Rather than large, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. This is a story that I was not prepared to do at this moment. Honestly, I was doing my combined 11 heated debate with a Manchester United fan, and Arsenal just blew my day away. I mean, why? Now, according to the latest from an exclusive interview with journalist George Nicola, he has said Arsenal are in advanced talks to sign Manchester City striker and Manchester City and Haaland casualty Gabriel Jesus for what would be less than £30 million. The player is left with 1 year on his contract. Everything has been agreed between the player and Arsenal. The player's agent and Arsenal have agreed everything, and Edu Gaspar is spearheading this deal. We're going to be diving into the details of this story. We're going to be diving into your reactions, and we're going to be diving into my reaction as well. I mean, it's important, isn't it? I mean, you need to get my reaction. But it's a very, very weird story, and it comes at a very weird time when I thought we must be focusing on Arsenal, Manchester United. I was really, really glad to be focusing on that. And, this story comes in, but I would love to do it as a breaking story. So let's get to it. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well. Transfers are underway. They've begun, and Cossy is always there to cover transfers for you. Let's get the party started. Now, let's start off with this, because there are a couple of quotes that I've looked at, and then we'll try to cover this story in detail as in the week, as think starting from Sunday, because tomorrow I'll be covering Manchester United, Arsenal. Now, this is it. The story runs from George Nicolo, and let's start from where it starts. All right, let's start from where it starts. Right. Okay. Now, according to George Nicolo, Arsenal it's called Nicola, right? George Nicola. Arsenal is in advanced talks to sign Gabriel Jesus, 25 years of age. Edu leads the negotiations, and everything has been agreed upon between the player and Arsenal. What is required is an agreement with Manchester City. His salary will be €6 million at Arsenal. Arsenal have agreed a deal with Manchester City player and striker, or pseudo striker, false 9, Gabriel Jesus. He will be earning €6 million per year, and everything is in place. We are just waiting for that agreement between Arsenal and Manchester City. Now, to add to this story, there are a couple of bites that add to this story, so that's why I went to just go step by step. According to George, there is only one season left in Jesus' contract. Arsenal will be willing to sign him on a free if they cannot get him on a fee, or if they cannot agree on a fee with Manchester City this summer. Gabriel Jesus wants to play more regularly before the World Cup. Man City is not expected to demand high prices for the striker, given the state of his contract. Interesting. Very interesting from Arsenal. Very interesting. And of course, you can follow me on Twitter. I've not tweeted, but I've retweeted these stories, and they're trending everywhere on Twitter. So feel free to have a look and check for yourself. Now, I think I've covered much of that. Now, the journalist also says Arsenal are reportedly in talks with Tielemans, Gabriel Jesus, and also hold very strong interest in Tino Livramento. Tielemans is estimated at around 25 million, Gabriel Jesus at around 25 million to 30, and Tino Livramento at around 30 million pounds. Interesting. Very interesting, right? Is there anything that okay, this is it. Edu Gaspar approached Paulo. Now, this is a very hard name. Pitombeira. That is the agent of Gabriel Jesus. So they're saying here that via the sport witness and according to George Nicola, Arsenal's Edu Gaspar, sporting director, approached Paulo Pinto Pitombeira, right, who is Gabriel Jesus' agent, to strike a deal. All that is needed is an agreement with Manchester City. That's it. That's it, lads. Like I said, we'll cover more of this tomorrow. So let's give. I need your reactions around Gabriel Jesus. What do you think? Do you think Arsenal are going for the right player? Do you think he would be our main striker target? Because the reason as to why he's signing for Arsenal is game time. He wants guaranteed game time. He wants to be playing more regularly. He wants to get more regular game time. And that's why he's moving away from City. The age bracket is okay, 25 years of age. But when you look at his statistics, right? When you look at his statistics, horrendous. Like in terms of scoring goals and assists per 90, per season in the previous seasons, horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. Let me run you through. This season, he has played 23 games and scored 3 goals. 23 games. He's appeared in 23 games and scored 3 goals, but 7 assists. Very close to Alexander Lacazette. Very close to Alexander Lacazette. Last season, 29 games, 9 goals, 4 assists. 2019-2020, 34 games, 14 goals, 7 assists. 2018-2019, 29 games, 7 goals, 3 assists. And 2017-2018, 13 goals from 29 games, 3 assists. The season when he signed for City, 2016-2017, only played 10 games, but managed to score 7 Premier League goals with 4 assists. So, lads, I need your reactions. I need your reactions on this one. I need your reactions on this one. What do you think about it? What is your reaction to this news? Gabriel Jesus. I'm going to try to break down the player is, but I want to get your initial reactions, your raw reactions, before I can settle down, think about the player is, and then I'll give you my reactions as the week goes on. But when you look up, when we talk about Gabriel Jesus, I think is one of those players that at some point in time we knew and we thought that Arsenal will go and sign a player from Manchester City, and we've been linked with Sterling, we've been linked with Cancelo, we've been linked with Riyad Mahrez, and now it looks like it's going to be Gabriel Jesus. The first question I'm gonna ask, and you will ask me as well, Cossy, is he the player we need? Is he the striker we need? I think he's the striker we have, because if you look at his previous seasons, he has very many assists. He's one player that can facilitate this. Actually, he averages at least 3 assists per 3. Sorry for that. Wow, that scared me. That scared the hell out of me. He averages 3 assists per season. This season, 7 assists. Last season, 4, and the season before that, 7. So, what is the difference between him and Alexander Lacazette? I don't think so. I'm purely convinced that, and I say this, that I would be really purely convinced that Mikel Arteta would go for a striker that resembles Alexander Lacazette, because with Lacazette, you have a facilitator. You have someone who facilitates the forward line, someone who plays like a false 9. What Gabriel Jesus would be better at than Lacazette is the ability to, kind of play that false 9 role better, because he plays it at City, and he does it well. And I would say it's one of the reasons why he doesn't have these 30 goals, 40 goals. I'm not really trying to defend him, but what I'm trying to say here, or drive at, is maybe he doesn't have those many goals because he plays more, as a false nine, and we've seen him, being able to be, to be deployed on either sides of the pitch. He can play to the left, he can play on the right side of the attack, and he can really do very well. But in my opinion, I think Arsenal need someone who gives you the goals. I don't think Gabriel Jesus is going to make that switch from City to Arsenal if he's not sure of game time. Because the reason behind the agent and the player signing for Arsenal is that they want more game time before the World Cup, right? And according to trustable sources, Arsenal will try to sign 2 strikers in come this summer. 2 strikers are for grabs. 2 striker positions are for grabs. But we know there is only one player. I mean, there is only one position for Arsenal. On the front line, only one, and that is one striker. So even if we bring in 2, we cannot play all of them. So it's interesting to know, is it going to be the Maki signing and then Arsenal getting someone supportive, more supportive in a more supportive role, or are we looking at Gabriel Jesus as a player who is going to come in as a second striker? That is what I don't understand, because if he's coming in as the main striker, I'm not convinced. I'm not really convinced. Let's look at his more of his statistics at FBref. Like I don't want to judge players before looking into them, right? Let's look at his strengths and weaknesses. Strength: pass completion stands at 84.5%, and that is 90. He stands in the 96% percentile. That is really high for him. Passes attempted per 90, 37.9. Pressures applied per 90, 15.47. Right, and he's that shows you that the level at which he works hard is not that bad. He's a hard-working striker, and we've seen it with Mikel Arteta. You need to be hardworking. For you to play in his side, for you to get that game time, for you to get that favoritism. I mean, allow me use that for lack of a better word. For you to get that kind of favoritism for him, you need to be a hardworking striker. Progressive carries per 90, 8.0. That is 85% in the 85% percentile, right? Progressive passes per 90, 7.8. So this guy is more of a Roberto Firmino, Kai Havertz striker. So look, we've been dreaming of Victor Osimhen. We've been dreaming of Lautaro Martinez. And I'm not saying Arsenal will not or cannot go for a better striker, cannot go for a better forward by signing or by bringing in Gabriel Jesus. I don't think so. I think we can, with all the respect in the world, we can bring in another striker. But the priority and the qualities of Gabriel Jesus are rather fit a false 9 rather than a Romelu Lukaku traditional kind of 9. And I think Mikel Arteta, we've seen it with him, he would rather play a player who plays better with his back facing goal, a player who can get the ball right from deeper areas and then progress it. And that's because if you look at Gabriel Jesus, shot creating actions per 90, 2.4, that's quite low. That's quite low for a player who plays in those positions. But progressive passes per 90, 2.6. Dribbles completed per 90, 1.9. And shots in total per 90, 2.94. So hardworking, but does not want to be in that in that penalty area. He wants to play further away, carry the ball, bring it up, forward. And if you look at how City play, Riyad Mahrez and Raheem Sterling, go and look at their statistics. Mahrez this season has scored 24 in all competition, or 26 in all competition. I can't lean to the word because I'm not very sure, but it's between 24 to 26 goals for them this season. He's a winger. Raheem Sterling has been averaging almost 20 goals per campaign for them. He's a winger. So, and look, let's not forget that the headline of the season of Arsenal's transfer summer has been Arsenal trying to get in a winger who can score as many goals as possible. And I think that those stories and those headlines are now being given lots of relevance. When you think about Arsenal signing Gabriel, they've been given lots and lots of relevance. Because for me, there is no way you want you're not scoring goals, and then you go, we're gonna sign in a guy who has scored 3 goals this season, 4 goals last season, 14 goals the season before that. I think the strategy for Mikel is to allow Saka, Martinelli, Smith Rowe, and whoever plays on the flanks get more goals, just like you see Salah and Mane, and then you have this kind of central striker as a facilitator, creates space for them, runs, makes those runs in behind, like you see Roberto Firmino. He literally runs, but those his runs are not meant to attract passes through balls. Literally, what he does is picks himself up and then makes those runs forward. Just drives the traffic away. He just drives the traffic away. And look, I'll give you an example. Liverpool played United over the weekend, and in midweek. Did I say over the weekend? Why did I say that? Over the week, in midweek. And the front three were Salah, Diaz, and Mane. But when you look at how all those goals got, all those goals that were scored, Salah plays to the, played on the right, and Mane down through the middle, and then Luis Diaz to the left. Of course, interchangeably, because that is their strongest point. It's the dynamism, right? It's they have a lot of dynamism, and I love it. I honestly love it. So, but my point is, if you look at Mane's goal, literally he's standing into space, right? But you're gonna ask yourself, of course, there is very, very poor defensive action from Manchester United, very, very poor defensive action, but there is also another explanation as to why Liverpool strikers and Liverpool players find themselves alone in penalty areas. It's because that kind of false nine runs away and runs wide, and by doing so, he moves away with either your with your center back or both of them if they're not really aware, right? And it just creates those gaps. It just creates the spaces. I think he does it very well. He would do it very well at Arsenal, and I think he's really a very good player at that. And listen to this: his expected number of assists and goals per 90 stand at 0.6, and that is 88%. Number of expected goals stands at 95%, and the number of expected assists stands at 94%. Now, not different from Lacazette. Let me give you these slides. Arsenal, with Alexander Lacazette on the pitch, should have scored 20 more goals than actually Lacazette should have scored 20 more goals than the goals he scored this season, and that is explained by his XG and XG plus XA, like number of expected goals and number of expected assists. Literally, these players don't meet those numbers. They don't meet those figures because the goals that they are meant to score are converted into goals by Salah, Mane, Riyad Mahrez, and Sterling and Bernardo Silva and Ike Gundogan. Whoever can run into those spaces scores the goals. This is why I think he would work for us, and I'm also going to tell you why I'm not really pleased. Right? The reasons why I think Gabriel Jesus would work for us: one, the manager is building a similar system to that of Jurgen Klopp and that of Pep Guardiola. I mean, they're quite different and they're quite so similar, right? But that is what he's trying to do. He's trying to make sure that, because look at Smith Rowe has 10 goals this season. We have on the left side of the pitch, Smith Rowe, and Martinelli have scored 15 Premier League goals. On the right, on the right, Saka alone has scored, is it 10 or 11? I think 10 as well. 10 or 11? I think 11, right? With around 6 assists. Those are around 17 goal contributions. But then, you know, when these two are scoring, when players on the left and on the right are scoring, for example, the goal Emil Smith was scored over the weekend, sorry, in the midweek against Chelsea, a striker should be there, either more, you know, either up front in a more advanced position, or should be taking that shot. But the striker is not there. Like Edin Ketia is not there. So that is what Mikel Arteta, wants. He wants, his wingers to get more central. We saw it with Nicola Pepe at the end of last season. Pepe was becoming more and more central, and he was, he literally never went, to the byline. And when he cut inside, he was no longer taking the shots. He was coming inside, and he had actually started scoring more and more goals, and then he lost it. So if Mikel Arteta is sure Saka, Martinelli, and Smith Rowe, can give you those very high numbers, then I agree with Gabriel because he's one of those players very good at doing that, very good in, at playing that playing that system, and he would come at a bargain, less than 30 million pounds. Like, you'd be, that's a bargain. That's a bargain. And I don't think he's a bad player, 25 years of age. I don't think he's a bad player. Like I said, raw reactions. I'm going to get to raw reactions. My scare with him is we would have another Alexander Lacazette, and we would have this a situation where our wingers, who you can't blame too much, because this is a burden that has been put onto them by this club at a very young age. Our wingers, our young players, our youngsters would actually dry up. They would stop scoring. They would fail to score in vital games, and he would actually not give us anything better than Alexander Lacazette. Look, the past three games we've lost, Palace, Brighton, and Southampton, we had chances, didn't we? Very good chances that if you had a very sensible striker, he would take them all day long. He would take them, every bit, all the time, all day long. But then we didn't take those chances because Lacazette loves playing and thinks that, his role is to facilitate the wingers and take penalties. So that is my scare. That is my scare with this lad, that he might come in, he might, be good for the system, but does he make us that better? I don't think he's world class. I don't want anyone to lie to you. Pundits are always, that deluded. Not deluded, but they lie. And they're going to say, oh, he's good. Arsenal do not have, a player. Yes, we do not have a player like that. We do not have a player who's played under Pep Guardiola and Manchester City. But does he make us extremely better? Well, I don't think so. I don't think so. Very good upholder, very good hold-up play. Very good, link up with the rest of the team. But does he unleash Martin Odegaard? Would he make Martin Odegaard the top assisting player in the Premier League? No. And why I would take him, I would never take him over players like Darwin Núñez and Victor Osimhen is, with hold-up play, it's easy. You can learn. Like, without the ball, a player can learn. A player can adapt to that. But the striker instincts and the level at which this guy misses chances, oh my God. I thought I wouldn't say that, but I found myself reminding myself of it. The level at which Gabriel Jesus is ill clinical, if that's the word, is very baffling. I mean, he scored a goal against Liverpool this season, But then when you track back to when he had last scored the goal, because this season, how many games have you played, lad? You've played 23. You should have at least, for a Manchester City side with Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Ike Gundogan, Lodre, Raheem Sterling, Phil Foden, all that creativity, your Cancelo, Kyle Walker. If you're too bad, get double figures. Get double figures. Score 10, right? Score 10. So this is where I need your opinion. This is where I need lots of your opinion. The story is already up online. You can check it up. It's coming from an exclusive interview with journalist George Nicola. He was interviewed by City Extra, but also you can read it on via Sport Witness as well. So the last bit I'm going to do in this video is try to compare him to the other players that we want, that we are linked with, and see if he's the right option, if he's the best option. But also keep this in mind that Mikel Arteta might go for him as a backup striker, right? And then it would be baffling for me because he wants to get game time. But when a player sacrifices Champions League football to go to a club that is unlikely to go to Champions League, to agree a deal in principle with a club that is unlikely to go back to the Champions League, you know he's desperate to get game time. And I think he's desperate, and he should be desperate, honestly. He should be desperate because he's not getting game time. And this Brazil, the evolution and revolution at Brazil is not going to leave anyone, standing if you're not up to the standards. You're not going to, remain standing. They have Richarlison, they have Rafinha, they have Anthony, they have so many. They have Barbosa, they have Roberto Firmino Barbosa, but they also have Gabriel Barbosa as well, and they have so many other players, on that, on that Brazil attack. Neymar is still there as well. Gabriel Martinelli is breaking through, so you need to get the game time. But do you sincerely believe that this is a story? This is a transfer story that Arsenal are getting because of Edu or because of Mikel Arteta? In my opinion, both. He's Brazilian, he's Brazilian, and I think the Brazilian connection between Edu and Gabriel and the agent would actually make it easier. Like Edu Gaspar, Brazilian, he's worked in the Brazilian market for some time, and he understands the agents, and he also understands the players. I won't take stick on Gabriel Jesus. I will first do a scouting report about him. Right? We'll do a scouting report. I'm promising all these scouting reports. I hope I can do them because it's not that easy to to keep up. So I'm going to compare him to some of the players, and we see if he is the man. Don't just say nah. Don't just say nah, lads. Don't just say nah. Say yes. Don't just say no, cause he's not good enough. Say yes. I need some yes. I need some optimism. I need some optimism from the Arsenal fans, especially from this podcast that has showed me that you people really follow Arsenal. Do you think, he would do the Alexander Lacazette role better, despite the fact that, his goals are, he's short of goals? And do you think he can add to his tally? Because it's 25, lots of room for improvement, lots of room to become a better player. Can he become better? Can he do better? Huge question on the hands of Mikel Arteta. Huge question on the hands of him as a player as well, right? Okay. Richard Dicon. He will be a great signing, Premier League proven. Yeah, I mean that is one of the things. That is one of the things you've got to think about him. Played in the Premier League. How many seasons? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This will be his 5th full season in the Premier League, and 6th overall. And I think when you think about the aspect of being Premier League proven, my heart literally bounces and rests a little, because he's a player from a Premier League side to another Premier League side. Not that very expensive. I think it's still, his resale value. The moment we sign a contract with him, his value will raise again. Right. If he was look, because for me, if he was remaining with 3 years on his contract, probably Arsenal would have to pay over 50. But because his contract is running down, 1 year left, like 25, like 30 million, either euros or pounds, depends on what they will agree upon. That Premier League experience is key. When you're signing in players, it's key. It's absolutely key. And I can't disagree. He's got the Premier League, player, but experience. But then that doesn't make him okay. That doesn't make him fit for Arsenal. Like if Anthony is Premier League proven, Mitrovic has played in the Premier League. He's Premier League proven. Who else has played in the Premier League? Timo Pukki. How many times has he played in the Premier League? Like 2 seasons I've seen him in the Premier League. Timo Pukki. Who else? Christian Benteke is Premier League proven. So, I mean, Premier League, the experience in the Premier League comes when you can also offer other things, right? Like you must have the numbers to back you. Then you must have maybe the talent, and then you fit into the project, and then you're viewed as the perfect player by the manager, and then Premier League experience, which is vital, comes in. But I don't think he's a bad player, though. I don't think he's a bad player, and I wouldn't disagree with anyone who thinks he is a good player. I will believe it when it's done. Vladimir Putin at UG Gargamel. Okay, right. Interesting, because we are very far away from the window. Mark Chrissy says, hello, how are you doing, Mark Chris? Hope you're doing well. Patrick, Arteta knows what he's doing. It's one thing that it's one thing that you've reminded me, and personally, I just reminded myself that he's the boss. Like, he's the boss. What am I even doing? He's the boss. Nonso, he's the boss. Look, I think Arteta has not let us down in terms of his signings working, apart from those players that I think he was deluded, actually influenced into signing, like Cedric Soares and Pablo Mari. Because when he came in, they had come, they were signed on loan by the club, and I think they talked him into signing them. Give Pablo Mari a contract, also give Cedric Soares a contract. These players have been well scouted and they will do well. I don't know if they've done well, but the latest we had of Pablo Mari, he was absolutely bullied by Romelu Lukaku. Romelu Lukaku cannot bully Ben White and Gabriel. But look, my point is in consensus with yours. I think Arteta typically knows the kind of striker he wants, and he knows the quality he wants. So we cannot sit here and say, oh, he's not good enough. I will never say he's not good enough. I don't think he's he's a bad player. Maybe the numbers do not meet the standards I want as an Arsenal fan. And I mean, it happens all the time. We fans do want the numbers. We are attracted by the numbers. There's no question about that. Joseph, hi, Cossy, how are you doing today? Tell me about Tomiyasu and Partey. I've done a full video of the reaction, but just to give you just a bit, Thomas Partey is recovering as faster than expected, but not as fast as to play for Arsenal against United. And then Tomiyasu is well. It will depend on the manager to include him in the squad and also make sure that he plays. It will depend on the manager, but he's back and fully available. Fully available. That's it. Arteta perfect. No, Arteta is perfect. He knows his capabilities. I think it's all about how Arteta wants to play. It's not about Arteta being perfect, but it's all about how Arteta wants to play and which players would actually fit his system. So if you're telling me, he's a good player and he would fit the system of Mikel Arteta, I cannot, disagree. But if you're telling me Arteta, is maybe if you're telling me, Patrick, that Arteta perfectly knows his, capabilities. Of course, they've worked together in the same environment at City. So I would be disappointed if he didn't know. I mean, that was his role at City as Mikel Arteta. handle players. He was not the manager, he was a coach. I don't think Jesus is good enough for Premier League. I disagree with you. I disagree with you. I think there are two things: not understanding a player and what they do, and accusing them of not being good enough. Let me give an example. Many people have accused Jorginho, the Chelsea midfielder, the Italian Chelsea midfielder, of not being good enough. I rather think many people don't understand what Jorginho offers to Chelsea, rather than like him not being good enough. I mean, it could work with me with Xhaka if you want, because I'm a strong critic of Xhaka, but I love his passing range and passing ability. With Gabriel Jesus, we need to be very, very careful of what he offers as a player, and how he plays, and how he's deployed, and the roles and the specifics that he's told to do. Look, the fact that he's a striker and he doesn't have a 20 goal season in the last 6 years doesn't write him off. It doesn't write him off. For me, it doesn't. Because listen to this. City signed him from Palmeiras, right? And in 2016, when they signed him, he had scored 12 goals in 27 games with 5 assists. Before that, in 2015, he had scored 4 and assisted 3. So even when City brought him in, they didn't bring in someone who had exploded in terms of scoring goals. I think they perfectly knew, Pep and Arteta perfectly knew the build and the ability of the player. So even by us bringing him in, I would definitely understand that Arteta knows what he's doing. He knows the kind of player he's signing, because he's worked with him at City. If it didn't work out, if it didn't meet the requirements, I don't think he would then try to sign him back at Arsenal. I don't think. I don't think. And also, we have to make sure that we remember that this is an Erling Haaland casualty. Casualty. How's that word pronounced? Casualty. 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 Maybe that's the one. Casualty. Casualty. I need more pronunciation lessons. Casualty. So the fact that City will be bringing in Erling Haaland, which is scary, because they're replacing someone. They're replacing someone with less goals to a more with a more goal, more of a goal beast, a goal hunter, a goal machine. I think it would mean that City want someone who can be able to give them 25 goals to rely on. But also, like I've said, this doesn't mean that Arsenal will not bring in a striker. Maybe we're going to drop someone. Maybe we're going to drop Saka. Maybe we're going to drop Martinelli. I don't know. I mean, it will depend on the manager. But the moment I see Gabriel Jesus, at Arsenal, I will understand that we are definitely going for a 4-3-3. This man is no lone striker. No, Gabriel Jesus, there are many things they can do, but as a lone striker, you would have sacrificed him to the Lions. And I don't think Mikel is intending to do that. Sign Gabriel and Rashford. Oh my God. Like, don't just ruin the whole summer now. Yes, we are in a ruining contest for the summer. This summer is not about who. We are not going to get a gold medal by signing players who need a rescue point. We are not 9-9. We are not. We are not the police. We are Arsenal Football Club, trying to rebuild up to back to glory. That is what we are. That is who we are. Okay. So if you bring Rashford, do not bring in don't bring in Gabriel Jesus. And I would definitely say sign Gabriel Jesus, bring in Gabriel Jesus, but don't bring in Rashford. Because the moment you bring in Gabriel Jesus, then it's gonna demand you to bring in someone who can just cover, right? Who can just cover the goals that is not going to give you. The chances that are going to be created, Rashford, is it that clinical? You need someone off the flanks that you are sure will convert those chances. Not Rashford. Not Rashford. Don't. I mean, we can't just get all of them. I mean, you people, you should. I mean, sympathize with that. Jack, please, we are not serious as a club. I don't think this transfer shows that we are not serious. I think it shows that Arteta is at the heart and is driving what's going to happen. I don't think Jesus is the striker we want, Cossy. Jack, okay. Right. Kenneth, he is an upgrade to Nketiah, but not the striker we need. We need a killer striker like Nunes. Now, allow me say this, lads. Allow me say this. There's a difference, and this happened to us in the previous summers. There is a difference between we loving a player and we thinking that that player is not good enough. And there's also a difference between there's a difference between us hating a player or not believing in a player and that player not being good enough. That's what I want to say. I don't think Gabriel Jesus is not good enough. I think he's not lethal. I think he's not clinical, but it doesn't take away his quality as a player. It doesn't take away his ability. It doesn't take away that he's one of the best players that you would deploy in that false nine role, and he works out very well. So I'm not going to bend to that end. Of course, we did go in there in that debate, Odegaard, Maddison, and you people really told me how Odegaard was not very good enough. I wanted Maddison. I really wanted Maddison, and I would definitely still go for him. But that didn't mean that Odegaard was a bad player. And I told you, Odegaard was a good player. Odegaard is class, but I wanted Maddison because of the goals and the assists. And if you look at what he's done this season at Leicester, many of us said, "Oh, thank God we didn't sign Maddison." Just go and look at what he's done at Leicester this season. A very, very good job, and he's available in the summer as well. So I don't think he's so bad as a player. Jamie says it should be Gapco and Nunes. And he says under Sabitzer and Neves. Okay. And then Jack says we should rather sign Abraham than Gabriel Jesus. Okay, interesting. I won't comment to that. Gabriel Jesus isn't worthy for Gunners. We need Darwin or Victor or Osimhen. Let me ask you, lads. Hit the like button for me. Thanks, everybody. Hit the like button. I don't know how many likes we have because I'm not looking at the phone and the stream, but just hit the like button for me. It massively helps out. Let me ask you, would you take Gabriel Jesus and Darwin Nunes? Like, would you take Gabriel Jesus and then a lethal striker as your striker partnership? Shakira, it was Gapco and Nunes, but even Jesus and Nunes isn't a bad combination. Brilliant. Brilliant footballing knowledge from her. Very, very good. Look, I would take that. Honestly, we should just use Nketiah than Jesus, than Jesus. I need to get that Jesus right. I need to get that Jesus name. Here is the one. Here this one talking of Nketiah. Yet we are going to play Champions League. I mean, as the fans, that is how we contradict ourselves. Like, I don't think you would genuinely say Edin Nketiah is compared to Gabriel Jesus. I don't think. Gabriel Jesus is good. Vincent Lucky, thank you so much, Vincent. I hope you've looked at some scout report. You're on my side there. He can do Laka's job more better because he's quick. He's quicker, and I think he's more technically gifted than Laka. Okay, but of course, Laka has got the energy and the physicality. Jesus is good, but now we need long-term players that are young. 25 years of age, lads. Tony, he's 25. This guy is not 28. This guy is not even 27. He's just 25. If he signs a 5-year contract, 5 years, that's it. He's young. I don't see why you would trash him because he's not young. He's young. We need Gabriel Jesus seriously. Saleh. Okay. All right. That is, I didn't understand that. Big up to Derek in the chat. Kenneth says numbers can fluctuate for a player depending on a system or coaches, and players around him. Looking at Alba, Lukaku, Sancho, etc. have changed numbers. Wow, wow. I should pin that. Best comment I've seen. Best comment I'm saying, and I think you are trying to react to me saying that he's not actually scored a goal. He's not had a 20 goal campaign, and I think you're right. I think you're right. I mean, there is a lot of sense. There is a lot of footballing sense in your comment. Can't lie. We can't 99,999. Didn't get that though. We need him. Please confirm it is true. Now, the journalist was speaking to a Manchester City outlet, right? They were asked about. He was asked about what's going to happen with players like Gabriel Jesus with the incoming transfer of Erling Haaland. If you've not seen it, Erling Haaland has agreed personal terms and a deal in principle with Manchester City. He's going to be earning around 600,000 per week. God, where is football going? 600 per week. That is what that is the deal that has been agreed between Haaland and City. So obviously, I think Gabriel Jesus knows that he needs to pave way, right? And that's why that is why he's saying, I'm making way. I will make way. I will go to Arsenal and try to find some game time. Okay, more of your comments then. We are not 99. I think 99%. Better deal, Cossy. All right. Thank you so much, Jassy. Look, I'm not anywhere. Wow, damn. I'm not anywhere on the fence on this one. No, at least not yet. At least we don't need that kind of players. What do you need? I mean, what do you mean that we don't need that kind of players? Because I would really love to know what that comment hugely means. Do you mean we don't need a player who's played for City for 5 years and is held in high regard by Pep Guardiola? Or you mean to tell me that we don't need him because he's not good enough? I would love to know. I would definitely love to know. Okay. Kizzy says, if it's true, I'll take him in a heartbeat. Quality player he is. He's a quality player, though. He's a quality player. I wouldn't take him in a heartbeat, though. You know why? I would think about other players. Right, let me try to compare him to the other players. Let's start off with Darwin Núñez. Why I wouldn't take him over Darwin Núñez is what he does. You can easily train a player like Darwin Núñez to give you that. Núñez has the aerial ability. Núñez has the physique. Núñez is a better threat in the penalty area and in the box, and I think he's able to link up with other players. Maybe not provide the number of assists like 7, 10, 14 assists per 90 as a striker, because he's selfish, and that is the striker's instinct. But if you look at the collective whole, the collective package of Darwin Núñez vis-a-vis the collective whole and collective package of Gabriel Jesus, I would rather take Darwin Núñez. If I compare him to Dominic Calvert-Lewin has got the holder play, but not better than him. He's got the aerial ability far better than Gabriel Jesus, and he's clinical. My problem with Gabriel Jesus is, however much you are a hold-up player, look at Gabriel Barbosa, Firmino. He is a false nine, and he is a false nine, and He's done it very well for Liverpool. But one thing you love about him is he is clinical, because those chances are always going to fall for you, right? Either the first balls or or the second balls or the third balls. They're going to fall to you, and you need to be able to take them. But of course, someone has already told us that numbers depend. So we shouldn't be very, very scared, right? I hope we shouldn't be very, very scared. But I just want to run you through the statistics of Roberto Firmino Barbosa. You're gonna see what I'm talking about, right? So Roberto Firmino, these are his statistics. No, I want the Premier League. I don't want other leagues. The Premier League. This season, 18 games, 5 goals. But of course, this season has not been, predominantly playing other level. The two previous seasons, 36 and 38 games, respectively, and then he scored nine goals each, but assisted 7 times and 8 times, respectively. The seasons before that, that is 19, 18, and 17, he was recording double figures. 16 scored 10, 17 scored 11, 18 scored 15, and 19 he scored 12. And why I'm comparing Roberto Firmino Barbosa and Gabriel Jesus, for me the quality at Liverpool is like it's like a haunting mark. You literally have to score, right? You literally have to score the goals. So if Gabriel Jesus can come in and just maintain those double figures, like you have to give us 15 goals in a season. 15 is fine. 15 is fine, right? If 15 is fine, if he's, because he's a player who's going to facilitate Saka to score 15 and Martinelli to score 15. That is that would be 45 goals, for the front line, right? And then a player like Martin Odegaard, who can then give you 10, because all those the spaces that are left by Gabriel Jesus can be occupied by anyone, especially those runs into the penalty area by Martin Odegaard that we are seeing more often, due to the Alexander Lacazette effect. So look, he just needs to add more numbers, right? Add more numbers to your, like, you cannot score 3 goals in a campaign, and then you're playing centrally for City. You can't do that. You literally can't. You literally can't. It's inexcusable. Absolutely, it's inexcusable to me. Okay, let's get back to some of your comments and see what you people are saying. Okay, but he hasn't agreed yet. Yet. It's just first approach. Now let me read the story again. The good things that we have it. Gabriel Jesus is in advanced talks. Is in very advanced talks with Arsenal. Edu Gaspar approached the player's agent, Paulo Pitombeira, and while everything has been agreed between Arsenal and Jesus, now all that is needed is an agreement with Manchester City. Follow me on Twitter. Can I just share a link for my Twitter account in the comment section, so that you don't miss these stories? Just follow me on Twitter. You won't miss these stories, and you will be able to get firsthand information. Look, I hope I got the right one. I hope I got the right one, because okay. This is the latest from David Onstein. I'm going to share my link on my Twitter link. The latest from David Onstein. He said Arsenal exploring the possibility of signing Gabriel Jesus from Manchester City. Clubs yet to speak, but talks between Edu and representatives for months. 25-year-old player open to the idea. AFC current favorites. Calvert-Lewin among other options, as per the Athletic. Brilliant, because that just adds a layer of credibility to the story, right? It just adds a layer of credibility. Now, David Ornstein and the Athletic have confirmed that we have been in talks with the player for months. The player wants to join. A deal is agreed between the representatives and the club. There are no talks between us and City there yet. There are no talks between us and City yet, right? So I'm not trying to mislead you. I'm trying to give you what is happening in the market at the moment. Okay, hi, Cos. How are you doing? I'm doing very well, Vincent. Cos, you talk about Isaac coming. Nothing for now. Nothing for now. I mean, we don't have a look. If you look at this story, it's breaking. But Isaac is not a bad player. I would definitely take Gabriel Jesus because it would be a cheaper deal and it would make more sense than Isaac. Cossy, he has not played more centrally this season. Mostly played on the. Yeah, by the way. But what about Riyad Mahrez, though? What about Raheem Sterling, though? How many goals these guys score off the flanks? And then the last comment that I will take on this is from Cabo, who says, all right, let me just make sure that I take your comment. Brother man, I'm good. Brother man, good evening. I hope Arsenal well, this light is just making. I hope Arsenal with going to beat Manchester United tomorrow, depending on if Mikel uses the same lineup that beat Chelsea. Much love to you. Oh, thank you so much. Jesus is for a backup option, not as a starter, bro. We need Nunes. Right. My lights are blinking, and I'm gonna call it a show, but of course we'll pick up from there.